Welcome to Policing TV, the latest in this Policing People series. I'm delighted to be joined today by Jared Ojuok, who is a member of the Kenya Police Service. Jared, you're a career police officer currently serving in the office of the Deputy Inspector General at the Kenya Police Service as the Public Information Officer. We also had the opportunity to meet in Athens at the International Police Association, the IPA World Congress, very recently. And great to meet you on that occasion. At which point, when we met, you gave me a copy of your book, When the Ancient Tree Falls, by Jared Ojuok. An excellent read. We're going to come on to this as well. But first, can you start, Jared, by telling us something about your policing career to date, starting with why you joined the police service and what it is that you've done over these past few years in policing in Kenya.
Thank you, Bernard. Rightly as you've said, my name is Jared Ojuok. Currently Senior Superintendent of Police, serving as the Public Information Officer, Kenya Police Service. Now, you will notice the police arrangement in Kenya has what we call the National Police Service, and under it we have the Kenya Police Service, which is the bigger brother, and we have other services. One of them is called the Administration Police Service. The other one is the investigative wing, that is the Criminal Investigations Department. For us here in Kenya, that is the arrangement, and currently I serve at police headquarters here at Vigilance House, Nairobi. Back to what you asked earlier, I joined the Kenya Police Service in the year 2001. For a period of 9 years, I served in the elite forces, that is the elite unit of the police called the General Service Unit, where I served for 9 years. And after that, I joined now the regular police, as we call it here, the blue uniform, that is. At the elite unit, our uniform is slightly different. We wear different berets, we wear different shade of uniforms, but that is behind us now. I think now I should talk more on Kenya Police because that's where I currently serve. So, as to the reason I joined police, all along since childhood, I'd always hoped to, well, maybe naively, but to use guns. And when the opportunity presented itself, immediately after I graduated from the university, there was a recruitment exercise across the Republic. And I went for the recruitment and I was enlisted. That was on the 3rd of March, 2001. And since that time, I've been a police officer.
It's great to speak to you here on Policing TV. You are the first police officer that we've interviewed from Africa, so delighted to have that opportunity. You are the International Police Association Section Kenya. I will get the title slightly wrong, and I know you'll correct me, but you're the president for Section Kenya, and it was in that capacity that you went to Athens for the World Congress.
Yes, I am the National Secretary General here, basically the Chief Executive Officer of IPA Kenya Section. The IPA Kenya Section is one of the 7 sections here in Africa. Not many countries in Africa are in IPA, unlike Europe where almost every country is a member. And IPA Kenya happens to be one of the oldest sections in the world, in top 10, because IPA Section Kenya was registered way before independence in 1961. And Kenya is one of the oldest sections, except for the reason that over the years, I think the zeal to join the IPA maybe have been diminishing. We are one of the oldest sections in the world. Actually, we joined IPA way before many countries in Europe joined IPA. And that's on account of course, you will recall that Kenya was a British colony, and so the British policemen who served in Kenya, rightfully so, made sure that Kenya was registered as a section at that point in time. Now, in the post-independence period, now we've had IPA growing. Sometimes, due to certain circumstances, we are not doing very well, but overall, we're one of the best sections, not just here in Africa, but in the rest of the world.
So tell us, what is it that will lead Kenya police officers to join the International Police Association? What benefits are there that Kenyan police officers would experience from the IPA?
Thank you. Not specifically Kenya Police, but I want to talk about police officers in the whole world. Police, like every other organization, has membership, and those members, there's this urge in humans to want to know what their colleagues or counterparts elsewhere are doing, how they are living, what kind of lifestyle they have in those countries. And I think in the mind of the person, that is Sergeant Arthur Troop, the man who came up with this IPA concept and the idea, and it materialized to the state it is today, he was satisfying this urge to have officers reach out to their colleagues in other countries in a way that one will not be bound by their the politics of their nation states, and also in a way that leads to growth within the service worldwide. And so Kenya Police, like every other police officer in the world, find reason to join IPA because there's no any other tool or vehicle by which police officers can reach out to other police officers in other political entities. So for that reason, we in Kenya, we have found serious benefits. One, every year when we have the World Congress and we have our officers represented, we get the opportunity to meet and have a discussion, one-on-one discussion with officers from those other countries. And it's so satisfying because it helps them build social networks across the borders. That element of knowing an extra person in another country is so satisfying to the personal life of the officer. And you know, police work, as it were, the world over, police work is a very stressful engagement. Police officers go through a lot. They have a lot of working hours which are not defined in the mode of, you know, from say 8 to 5 for many other professions. Police officers work around the clock. And so it's very, very stressful. One of the ways in which you can release or relieve yourself of those stresses is by having friendship. And so IPA creates friendship beyond the border. Somebody you can share your thoughts with, somebody you can call, somebody you can have a chat with, whether it's on WhatsApp, social media, Facebook, and what have you. Now, this is a special benefit. It's not easy to recognize until you know that maybe you have served the rest of your life and all you know is people from your country. It cannot be satisfying in this day and age. Away from the friendship, we have training opportunities. We have had officers from Kenya training in Europe. For example, myself, earlier this year, was training at the Gimbon Institute in Germany, that's Cologne. We have had officers attend trainings in the US, Sri Lanka, and many other countries. We also have what we call friendship weeks. For example, here in Kenya, we've previously brought officers from other countries, and when they come here and we just have that good time away from the stresses of work. It helps officers to manage stress. And we also have serious cultural engagements. For example, I remember in the year 2014, there was a very big cultural meeting in Swaziland. Now it's called Eswatini, where we were able to sample the culture of the people of Eswatini at a very personal level, where you interact with that culture physically, so to say. And for me, that was such a big thing. And I believe for all those who were able to attend. Away from that, when disasters strike, IPA becomes a family. The latest is what I would call flooding. When we have had cases of flooding, for example, the one that we had in Mozambique and many other parts of the world, we always have this friendship where our members have this feeling that where one of us is involved, we are all involved. So we see people giving donations, and it comes in handy to help with the construction of houses if they have been destroyed or if property has been lost. Then people, so it's sort of some insurance that we have that this friendship goes beyond just talk. It also touches on our personal lives on our economic lives and our everyday lives, including those of our families. And for those reasons, I think IPA is such a good thing. It was such a good idea that the police came up with, that beyond what we can get from our governments and immediate family members, there's always this arrangement where somebody from another country, on account of friendship alone, would feel what we are going through and come through for us. For me, it was such a great privilege to have had the opportunity to communicate my ideas to the rest of the world. I have been writing all my life because the work of my office entails daily I'm writing some statement either to the media or for purposes of speech in our functions, or generally updating our social media sites, that is our Facebook page, our Twitter handle, and all that. So I do a lot of writing. And for a long time, I'd been contemplating writing a book to my name, only it was not clear to me what I would write about. I want to tell you that there's something very, very unique about me. My earlier life, that is between age 1 to 20, I grew up completely in the village. I'm a villager of sorts. I only came to the city for university education. Now, after many years of staying in the city, I discovered that there's something that I knew, which most people my age or even older did not know on account of having stayed in the city all their lives. And I thought, why not put this thing in writing so that it can benefit this great majority of people who did not have my experience growing up. I happen to be from a community called Luo, and Luo people have a very rich culture, a culture that they really deeply respect. And growing up in the village, I grew up with this culture. I looked around me and I discovered that a lot of our young people, in my view, did not have certain values which I considered very, very key in my life. Things like integrity and just respect for people who are older than you. And I realized it was not really the problem was not theirs, because they did not grow up in the circumstances in which I grew up. So I chose to write this book just to communicate my ideas on what I thought values ought to be, and how basic things like courtesy should count in our human relations. For that reason, I sat down and came up with a novel. Well, it's a novel, but a realistic novel in the sense that it speaks to what realities there are among my people, my experiences growing up, my experiences interacting with people during my childhood, my experiences interacting with people at various stages in life, and also listening to those beautiful stories being told by my late father, my late grandmother, and just putting them together in a form that would communicate at the same time entertain my readers.
It's a beautiful book.